Hello, everyone. It's Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. And today is the 26th of August. It's a Friday, 2022. The topic today is poll tax and Pell grants. Click on the subscribe button here in the lower left to subscribe to future episodes of Civil War Chat. And also click on the notification bell in the far upper right to be notified when new episodes are released. Okay, so here we go with today's topic. Poll tax and Pell grants. While President Biden's $300 billion student loan forgiveness should be condemned as a shameful moral hazard and a reprehensible bribe to a favored class of voters, it is also racially discriminatory against whites. Compare the present scenario to that of the end of the poll tax 58 years ago. Considering that modern historians roundly condemn postbellum Southerners for using the tax against blacks, let's see what those historians will say about the anti-white discrimination in the present debt forgiveness plan. In 1964, 3/4 of the states ratified the 24th Amendment outlawing the poll tax in federal elections because it was deemed to be racially discriminatory against blacks. 2 years later, the Supreme Court outlawed them in state and local elections for the same reason: discrimination against blacks. In truth, the typical $1.50 tax discriminated against poor people, not blacks per se. It was, however, judged to be anti-black because voters were required to present poll tax receipts when casting ballots, and a greater percentage of blacks were poor than whites. Thus, the poll tax inhibited voter turnout among the poor and those racial groups most likely to be poor, meaning blacks. Now, the above line of reasoning suggests that Biden's limited student debt forgiveness order is racially discriminatory against whites. Specifically, his $10,000 forgiveness limit is doubled to $20,000 for Pell grant recipients. But who are the Pell grant recipients? According to the National Center for Education Statistics, only 32% of whites have Pell grants, even though whites compose 62% of America's population. In contrast, blacks represent a mere 13% of the nation's population, but they get 58% of Pell grants. Thus, the competitive playing field for Pell grants is steeply tilted in favor of blacks. Indeed, it appears that Biden is taking his marching orders from identity grievance expert Ibram X. Kendi, who authored How to Be an Anti-Racist, in which he wrote, quote, "The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination," close quote. That remark is undeniably the vilest form of racism that can be uttered today without the speaker being canceled. The higher Pell Grant ceiling for debt forgiveness is particularly egregious, wicked, because the grants are themselves free money to the recipients. Using a black student's greater propensity to receive Pell gifts as a ticket to a higher forgiveness level or a higher forgiveness limit on the unrelated student loan program doubly insults the taxpayer who has funded Pell Grants for 50 years and now must also pay the debt forgiveness bill. That, my social justice warrior friends, is what injustice really looks like. If Americans in 3/4 of the states 58 years ago were racially enlightened enough to help blacks by abolishing the poll tax, then fair-minded Americans of today should insist that Pell Grant recipients be denied more favorable loan forgiveness limits. But the chances of that happening are about as likely as an Apache Indian getting elected Pope. Okay, that's my comment for today. But to really look at what people like Ibram X. Kendi are doing and how they're influencing the Democrat Party and the Biden presidential administration by the dreadful frauds, critical race theory and identity politics. My newest book, $16 at Amazon. You can get an autographed copy from me by emailing me, Phil_Leigh, L-E-I-G-H @me.com. If you want to know facts like the Pell Grant giveaway and other facts that are impacting you today and your children and grandchildren, if you're old enough, you get it in this book. You don't have to wait for it to become a topic for me to cover on Civil War Chat. It's all in this book. I'll conclude with this. There is absolutely no chance of any Confederate monument surviving anywhere if critical race theory becomes the standard accepted interpretation of American history in this country. Okay, that's our show for today, and I want to thank you for watching.